Hey, everybody, and welcome to the True Crime Squad. This is Katie Weaver. I'm here with my sister, co host, and partner in crime, Kristi Brower. Hello.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
How's it
Welcome,
going?
welcome. Good. It's really good. It's raining, which is so lovely. I
Mm-hmm.
am so happy about this weather right now. It's
Except for the tornado
cool.
one.
Well, okay, there's that. We are under a tornado warning.
Mhm.
However, don't freak out. We don't actually really have tornadoes here. I have no
Not
idea what they
usually.
mean by this. We don't. This is Southeast Idaho. We don't have tornadoes, but we're under a tornado warning right now, and possibly like half-inch hail. I
Yeah,
haven't seen any of it, but I'm right in the center of the city here in Idaho Falls, and a lot of times when that really extreme weather comes, I don't get it because the
right. It happens more
city
out.
kind of diverts
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, wild. But yes. Well,
But
it's,
other than that, the rain's fabulous. It's
oh,
cool. It smells like fall out there. I'm
it
here
does
for it.
smell like fall. A couple mornings ago when I was out feeding the crows early, I thought, it smells like fall. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And that's
And if
my
I,
favorite season.
yeah.
So that's a good thing as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
Oh, yeah. I'm we added more Halloween decorations a few nights ago to the yard, and, like, my goal is for us to be done by the end of this week with what's made,
I'm
and
impressed.
yep, we're looking real fancy out there. Yes. Right, Paula? We were just saying that. It's wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what is going on? And I have no idea.
Mhm.
I don't even know what a tornado would look like here. Like,
Mhm. I will say I am glad to be home. I recorded, last night, of course, we did our live, and I was at my daughter's house, and it was
yeah.
fine. I was just kind of a nervous wreck. I was on 2 different devices, and the dogs were coming in and out of the dog door next to me about 1,000 miles an hour, and it was just I was really missing my office and my setup, so I'm glad I'm home in my own space. Yeah.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, I'm still getting this TikTok live stuff together in my mind. I went live for us, and then I realized I never hit play on the video that I'm live streaming. So I
Oh.
just did that. So
Oh,
if you're on
well.
TikTok, welcome. My God.
Welcome TikTok. Christy has a basement. I do not, but we're
Hmm.
actually in my county, we're really actually not under the watch. We're fine.
Mm-mm.
We'll
Yeah.
see. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I do have a basement I could go down in, but I mean, I can't even hear wind, so I think we're all right.
Well, it might just hit really damn fast, so we'll see. But
It
I'm
may.
gonna
I don't know.
assume yes. So hopefully
Christine
everyone
says
is
we
safe.
should. Yeah, well, yeah, hopefully. Christine says that we should enjoy the smell of the rain, because in Phoenix it smells like sweat. Yes,
Not
I bet
good.
it does.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we have all kinds of things to cover today. Some interesting cases coming forward. So I'm going to kick
Hmm.
it over to you. Oh no,
Oh,
wait. You have a show and tell. Hold on.
I do have a show and tell.
A cool
You
one.
guys know I let you know yesterday that Fidget Whimsy lives, and all my
Hmm.
stuff is now up, and I have a brand new thing that I printed overnight I want to share with you. And it is a dragon. I know you've probably seen lots of the dragons around. This is not the same kind of dragon. This is a little bit different dragon. This is I named her Amethyst. And you can see her face here. She is 18 inches long. She's a big, long, beautiful, dark green and purple sparkly dragon.
She is super gorgeous.
But get
Yeah.
this. She has an egg, my friends. And
Uh
she fits
huh.
inside the egg. Isn't the egg
It
gorgeous?
is gorgeous.
Oh my gosh, when I pulled this off the printer, I was like, that is so beautiful. So
Yeah.
anyway, Amethyst is over at Fidget Whimsy if you're interested, if you're into the dragons. Isn't she pretty? And she does have little
So
tiny
pretty.
this designer makes little wings. So she has tiny little wings, and then she
Oh.
has front feet and back feet, and then this incredibly long, crazy cool tail.
With all the gems
So
on it. I love it.
with all the
She's
gems on it. Yeah, all
beautiful.
the amethyst gems on it. She's
Mhm.
18 inches long. But yeah,
Yeah.
she fits right here in this very cool little egg. So if you're
I
into
love it.
fidgeting with bigger stuff, and some people really, really love these long dragons, hey, guess what? There's one over there now.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about it.
Right, by going
A
to
lot of fun.
cruise.com, and there's a link there.
Yeah, yeah, truecrimesquad.com. You can get to Fidget Whimsy and all of our other links as well.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you, Kristen. Kristen says Fidget Whimsy is such a clever name. I really appreciate that. I love the name, and I haven't found anything even similar to it. I was able to get like that name exactly on all my socials and everything, and I thought that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Connie said the tornado watch expired at 3, so we're done. We're out of the way.
Okay, we're all right.
All right.
Good to go.
Good news. Jonna just wants a real dragon, please. Yes, I hear you.
Well, I mean, I can't help you there, but I can help you with the kind that can be your imaginary friend or something. I don't know.
I just want one to clear the way so I can shop at Walmart, Just clear the
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
way. Yes. Oh,
Oh,
hey, Rosanna. Thank you. She said she's fairly new to the squad. Welcome to the squad, and that
welcome, welcome.
she's just been wandering around belting out the Pryor ballad chorus pretty regularly. Well, I hear you. It's in my head too.
It is very catchy.
hmm
Yes, it is very, very catchy. If you have not heard our true crime bops, and I'm sure there will be more,
hmm
our SoundCloud account is there's a link to it now over on truecrimesquad.com,
hmm
so you can get to it and hear our bops about some of the
hmm
more famous cases we're covering right now.
I'm hoping to debut a new one tomorrow night on Case Updates about Mr. Alec F. Murdaugh.
Yay! Oh, I can't wait. He definitely needs a true crime bop.
hmm
Mm.
He's getting one. So if you have any thoughts about things that have to be in the bop, put them in here in the chat today so that I'll remember to put them in the bop. Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, we've got a lot to do, so let's hit it. You're going to kick us off with true crime update.
I am. Oh my goodness. This one is burning my biscuits. Well, as we know, the Scott Peterson murder case is being revisited right now.
Mhm.
This is what this arrogant jackass looks like these days in court. And so I wanted to do a little research around what is it that the LA Innocence Project think they have versus what did the prosecutor's office have originally? Because
Mhm.
they are trying to get a new trial for Scott Peterson. So recently there was a hearing um, where they're trying to get some evidence tested. So let me just remind you, Scott Peterson was convicted of the murder of his wife, Lacey, and unborn son, Connor, 20 years ago. Lacey and Connor were found floating in the San Francisco Bay. And he has exhausted every appeal you can imagine. He has managed to get the death penalty off the table. He did originally have the death penalty.
Mhm.
Then his defense alleged a problem with the juror, and the judge's solution to that problem with the juror was to take the death penalty off the table. Now they are alleging new evidence. Who is alleging new evidence now is the LA Innocence Project. Now,
Mhm.
that's not the Innocence Project. This is a
No.
different group in Los Angeles who who calls themselves the LA Innocence Project. And
Mhm.
they are trying to get some evidence tested. So here is the alternative theory of the crime that they are trying to get addressed. And that is that there was a neighbor across the street um, who had a break in and that there had
Mhm.
been some burglaries going on in the community. And they're trying to say that Lacey Peterson witnessed the neighbor's house being burgled and that the burglars abducted her, killed her, and threw her in the bay.
Mhm.
There were people in the neighborhood who saw this blue van in the neighborhood parked near this neighbor's house around the time of the robbery, and so the assumption is that maybe they took her in that van. Um, the van was later found burned out, and so they're saying,
Mhm.
well, that's evidence of the murders. It could also be just evidence of the robberies.
Right.
So there's a little bit of DNA evidence in relation to what's in that van or what was in that van. One was a mattress and a hammer
Mhm.
that had potential DNA on them. So there was a hearing on May 29th to conduct a test. And duct tape. There were 16 pieces of evidence they wanted to conduct DNA testing on. The judge only allowed DNA testing to be done on duct tape that was actually found on Lacey's body.
Mhm.
So the other stuff from the van actually is not getting tested. Um, so that's kind of what's happening right now. We're waiting to see. If you remember, the Scott Peterson case is like a truckload of circumstantial evidence. It's a
Mhm.
huge amount of evidence, but it is primarily circumstantial. He had a boat, he took it out in the San Francisco Bay that day. His behavior's always been real sketchy. He,
Mhm.
we know was having an affair with Amber Fry at the time. And we know, that the world fully believes that Scott Peterson is 100% guilty.
Oh, yeah.
Why the LA Innocence Project has taken this up, I don't really know. I don't really know at
Mhm.
all. But here's the other thing that I hate about this. Peacock is doing a 3-part documentary in which they have interviewed Scott Peterson. And so he's getting his word out into the world. And it airs on August 20th. Now there
A
is
weird
also
time. Yeah, trying to sway
right.
public opinion.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think it's gross. Like this is currently working through the courts. Stop trying to fuck with legal cases, TV.
Mhm.
Um Now there is a documentary coming out on Netflix that is about Lacey, and it's coming out real shortly now too. Or maybe it has. I'm not sure if it's dropped yet or not, but it's really new.
Mhm.
Um so it's just kind of, I don't know about you guys, but it makes my stomach hurt to think about it, to think that he could be released. Big part of the evidence they have against him is that when they arrested him, he was headed for Mexico. He had dyed his hair blonde. See that? That's him after he was arrested
Mhm.
with blonde hair. He had $15,000 on him. He had equipment to be able to camp outdoors. He had somebody else's ID and he had a family member's credit card. But he told the judge he wasn't running. Because,
So
that's
innocent.
pretty much
Yeah.
like Ethan Crumbly's parents saying they weren't running it.
Mhm.
There's tons and tons and tons, right? They were caught next to the Canadian border, hiding
Speaking
out
of
in
people
a
that deserve a
warehouse.
song, but okay, carry on.
Right. Yeah. Um, so, I mean, the thing with Scott Peterson is he is one arrogant jackass. And I can't imagine what he's going to come across like in these interviews because he is really, really arrogant.
Mhm.
And we all know about the Amber Fry affair. She didn't even know he was married. He called her during the vigil when they were still looking for Lacey. I mean, there's just like the list is so long of gross, weird shit that he did. His story
Oh,
changed
yeah.
repeatedly with the police and everyone. He told some people that he went golfing the day she went missing. Other people he went boating, but he couldn't say. He said he went fishing, but then he couldn't say what he was um, fishing for. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. There's also some evidence that he planned it ahead of time, that he made a homemade anchor to anchor Lacey's body to
Mhm.
the bottom of the bay. There's a lot. There's really, really a
Mhm.
lot against him. And so it is strange um, that they're fighting for this.
Yeah.
But that's what's happening right now.
Mhm.
So they're fighting right now. The LA Innocence Project is fighting to get some evidence tested that may or may not exonerate him or may not mean anything.
Yeah.
So far, they haven't managed to get anything in from the burglary angle. The prosecution said that that burglary happened 2 days after Lacey went missing. It's
Oh,
not related in any way.
wow.
So we'll see. But I want to just give you an update. That's where we're at. That's where everybody's been asking us what's up with Scott Peterson. That's what's up with Scott Peterson
Mhm.
right now. So I'm concerned about this documentary. I don't think it's right to be meddling when a case is in court like this and
Mhm.
moving through the system to be, interviewing
Oh,
him and
yeah.
showing him publicly and stuff
No.
when it's possible there could be a new trial. Now, listen, a new trial has not been granted. They're
No.
just going through the motions of trying to prove that there's enough evidence for a new trial. So let's see what happens. I don't know.
Okay.
With that, Katie, I'm going to kick the mic over to you for our
Yeah.
main case.
Yeah. Oh, you guys, there is a hell of a case happening right now, uh, in Ventura, California, and I'm gonna tell you all about it, starting with introducing you to this guy right here. This is 73-year-old Warren Luther Alexander,
Mm,
and
I don't like that
Alexander,
man at all.
no, he was arrested, for a murder that was committed in the 90s, a couple of years ago in North Carolina, and has now been extradited to California for 3 more murders that happened in the 70s.
Oh,
So, I think the best way to start here really is to start with, a portion of the press conference. Ventura County put together a really good press conference. It's kind of quiet, so if you need to turn it up, turn it up. It's worth listening to. The video work is, you'll see. They're trying. They're trying, and they're trying. So, like, it's good. It's good. They're trying, and it appears to me that everyone involved was instructed to speak slowly and not get too, talking too fast and get wild because they are speaking slowly. But
oh no.
but they have a hell of a story to tell. So we're not going to watch all of it. It's about 29 minutes long. We're going to watch about 9 minutes of it. So I'll cut it off here at some point when they've told the part of the story that you need to hear, and then I'll fill in the gaps. So,
Sure.
but huge props to them for putting together something like this because it's pretty awesome. So here we go.
Good morning. On December 27th, 1977, shortly after 6 in the morning, deputies from the Ventura County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to a call of a female found on the bridge at Laguna Road in the Oxnard Plains area of autopsy determined her death was caused by strangulation. Evidence which would later be used for DNA analysis was collected. Investigators from the Sheriff's Office investigated this case until all leads were exhausted and the case became cold. Lorraine Rodriguez was just 21 years old at the time of her death. She was born in Kansas. Her family moved to Oxnard. She attended the Port Hueneme High School. Lorraine had a son, daughter. Lorraine is survived by her mother, one sister, her daughter, and 3 brothers. Lorraine's daughter was just 3 years old at the time of her death. Her family described Lorraine as a loving and devoted mother who loved spending time with her family. Ventura County law enforcement has used advancements in DNA technology to re-examine unsolved cases. Due to significant advancements in science and technology, forensic biological evidence can now be analyzed with greater accuracy, sensitivity, and efficiency. The Ventura County Cold Case Homicide Unit, operated under the Ventura County Sheriff's Office, is a dedicated team of detectives committed to investigating unsolved homicide cases and identifying previously unidentified human remains. The unit consists of a team of 3 full-time sheriff's sworn detectives, 2 part-time non-sworn investigators, 2 part-time district attorney investigators, a full-time investigative assistant, and a full-time sheriff's office forensic scientist. This unit works collaboratively to review evidence, utilizing advances in DNA technology, and implementing innovative forensic techniques, while also partnering with outside agencies to bring closure to cold cases. To run a cold case unit does cost money. I'd like to personally thank U.S. Representative Julia Brownlee through the fiscal year 2022 Consolidated Appropriations Act for providing our cold case unit with a $950,000 check to support the investigation of backlogged violent crime and sexual assault cases using modern DNA technology. In a little over a year, our cold case unit has achieved remarkable success, leading to several high-profile case arrests, including the cases of Rachel Zendejas, Lisa Gondek of 1981, Monica Leach from 1997, and a series of strangulation murders now from 1977. I'd like to now call up Oxnard Police Chief Jason Benitez.
Thank you, Sheriff Freihoff. Good morning. On September 8th, 1977, 31-year-old Velvet Sanchez lived at the Via Motel, which is located on the 1700 block of South Oxnard Boulevard. On this day, a witness saw her go Oxnard police responded, and officers found that Sanchez had a ligature tied around her neck. Investigators collected DNA samples from the crime scene, and the autopsy later revealed that she died of strangulation. Velvet was born in Amarillo, Texas. She had left her job at the Navy Exchange just shortly before the time of her death. She was married at the time but was separated. She had 3 children, only one of which is surviving today. She is also survived by her sister. These murder cases have literally spanned generations, through generations of detectives. Many of the detectives and officers that initially responded to these cases are either long since retired or some have passed on. I'd like to thank the investigators from the District Attorney's Office, detectives and crime lab technicians from the Ventura County Sheriff's Office, detectives and staff from the Port Hueneme Police Department, and of course our own detectives from the Oxnard Police Department and our crime scene technicians. This county team of law enforcement agencies has worked over the last 47 years to keep these cases alive and to reach this important day and to bring justice to our victims. Thank you for persisting and never giving up. And now I'll turn this over to Port Hueneme Chief Mike Federico.
On May 29, 1977, the Port Hueneme Police Department responded to a call at the Marvin. The Marvin was located on Hueneme Road, a short distance away. An autopsy revealed her death was a result of strangulation. At the scene, evidence was recovered from both the scene and the victim. At the time of her death. She was born in Michigan. She attended school in Ann Arbor, and she was one of 3 sisters. Today, she is survived by her father and one of her sisters. A lot has changed in Ventura County since the deaths of Kimberly Fritz, Velvet Sanchez, and Lorraine Rodriguez. But what hasn't changed is our commitment to provide justice for the victims and their families.
Okay. Mostly, I just wanted you to hear their stories. I know the audio's
Yeah.
kind of weird. That was on their end. They, like I said, they're trying.
They
So,
haven't figured out how to put the picture on the screen and keep the audio with it.
mhm, yeah. But I love police departments that are doing stuff like this, you know? It does crack me up a little bit thinking, so what are they like? We need someone to put this video together, and they're like, have Kevin the intern do it. He's young, you know. And Kevin's like,
Probably.
I've never done that. They're like, you can do it. So he's on the Google and, doing his best. So
Yeah.
good job, Kevin the intern. It was okay. It passes.
It was. Yes.
It helps to tell the story. But I want to back up because what they were telling you is the story of these three young women that were murdered in 1977. And let's just
Yeah.
reiterate that Kimberly, Velvet, and Lorraine.
Mm.
They were all sex workers. They were all murdered by strangulation with their bras or other under things wrapped around their necks. They were all left in
Mm.
positions that were meant to demean or humiliate.
Mm.
And their cases all went cold in a hot minute and have been cold all this time.
Damn it.
In the early 2000s, the DNA evidence from the scene was sent in and evaluated and eventually put in CODIS, but there was nothing. So they've been waiting and hoping for a break in these cases, well, since 1977, since the year I was born. They've been waiting, and their families have been waiting.
Yeah.
So this is where the break came. In 1992, there was a woman that went missing. Let me get to my article here. This happened in North Carolina in 1992. A woman named Nona Cobb was 29. She was last seen getting into a Peterbilt truck at a rest stop on Interstate 85. She was found dead along the highway in Surrey County. She was strangled.
Mm.
Neither these three cases in California. In this case, obviously they happened quite a long ways apart, and there really wasn't any connection to one another at the time. That I'm sure neither municipality even knew of the other.
Mm-hmm.
But there was DNA found at the scene.
Mm.
So they also have been holding on to that DNA, hoping to do something with it at some point, and they did. And through reverse genealogy, they were able
Here we go
to
again.
locate Warren Luther Alexander and prove that he is the person that killed Nora. And so when they arrested him, his DNA went into CODIS. And lo and behold, that created a hit in Ventura, California.
Yeah.
So Ventura said, we've got three women that we believe that he murdered, and they have successfully extradited him as of this week back to Ventura to stand charges for these murders. He has not hasn't been to trial yet in North Carolina, which I was kind of amazed that they let him go to California already because they're not done with him
Yeah.
by any stretch. But now he's in California. He's now been arrested and charged, and he will be headed to court for an arraignment here in the next few days. So
Wow.
there's a lot to say. There's a lot to say because what we know about him, we know that he's from Mississippi. He's from Diamond Head,
Okay.
Mississippi. We know he was a long haul trucker. We know that he spent some time in Southern California. We know that he, of course, has now been arrested, and all four of these were obviously he's kind of a suspected serial killer, definitely a suspected serial killer at this time. August 21st is when he will have arraignment in California. So obviously, we have a lot of questions. We also know that he lived in Oxnard in the 50s and 60s in California, where he went to school as a kid.
Oh.
And then he
Okay.
moved back to that area in the 70s for a certain amount of time, right during the time that these women died.
Wow.
We also know that he's been a long haul truck driver for the bulk of his adult life.
Oh, wow.
So that is the big question right now. How many more? Now that his
Yeah.
DNA is in CODIS, now that's the big question. How many other women have been found that
Yeah.
were strangled that perhaps could have been one of his victims?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, in a case like that, they just about always find some more.
right. I mean, it's wild. 4 have already surfaced. And then it always takes me back to the same question when these people get busted, these old men that get busted. He's in his mid 70s now. So always want to know this. What is his family saying or people that know him? Are they
Mhm.
like, that totally tracks, dude's a creep? Or are they like, we had absolutely no idea. He's a father and a grandfather and the nicest guy you'd ever meet? Where are people that know him at on the spectrum here? Because we haven't heard anything about that yet. I've been looking. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to know. But also, 1977, 1992, there were more.
Oh, yeah.
There were more.
Like, there were definitely more.
Hmm. Yeah. I also have not been able to get clear on how long he's been retired from driving truck.
Mm.
And I think that would be curious to know as well. Um,
Yeah,
no
it
one's
would.
saying that all truckers are serial killers, but by God, some truckers are serial killers. Wow.
Right. Some definitely are. And yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
if he was active in 77 and he was active in 92, then he was probably active in between those dates.
Right.
And those are bad years for forensics,
Hmm.
unfortunately. And so
Yeah,
there are probably some that they'll never even be able to connect
I'm sure that's
because they
true.
don't have enough information. But God, I hope there's some.
Yeah, but that is a 15-year span. I
Yeah.
agree, Jess. There's probably more all across the country. There'll probably be more that are eventually attributed to him when he is long gone from this planet. It'll just continue to roll
Hmm.
out, I suspect.
Wow.
Yeah. But I
That
wanted
is
to show
wild.
you a picture of the initial victim. This is the victim from 1993, and her name is Nona Cobb.
Okay.
So, huge props to law enforcement on all sides of this. Huge props to the law enforcement officers in North Carolina that had the reverse genealogy done. Huge props to the lab
Hmm.
that did it. I'm not even sure which lab it was, but huge props to them. And huge props to the law enforcement community in Ventura that have stayed with this case. Wow, these are huge.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's big
Hmm.
news. And sometimes it is just sticking with it
Yep, yep. And
all that
and
time.
going back and taking another look here and there. Yep. Did he
Donna
have a
made a good.
type? Sex workers is the best I could tell you. I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean, we can take a peek.
Well, and John has said, since these his victims were sex workers, some of them maybe were never even reported missing.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if he really has a type other than sex worker looking at those pictures.
Hmm. I will show you. This came out at the time after 2 of the women were found dead because he was seen lurking around these hotel or these motels with these ladies, and so there was a composite drawing at
Really?
the time.
Oh, wow.
And this is the composite drawing, though that doesn't tell us much considering that he's in his 70s now,
Hmm.
but that's the person they were looking for.
Well, he had a beard at the time,
Hmm.
and he does
Yeah.
there too. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but
Yeah, and this was
interesting.
based on interviews with hotel or motel employees. So, yeah, so we'll keep following this one. Very interesting, and big props to everybody. It's serial killer news. It's DNA for the win. It's all the
Yeah.
things.
And hey, this time he's still alive.
Yeah, yeah. So good, good. Warren, I hope it sucks. I hope it super sucks.
Yeah,
Yep.
asshole.
Well, I'm going to kick it back to you for some racial injustice.
Yeah. Well, squad, this is Arvel Marshall. And Arvel Marshall was just exonerated for a crime that he's been in prison for 16 years. Turns out there was surveillance video all along that proved that he didn't do it. And he got out on August 9th after 16 years in prison. So, first of all, I wish you the best, Arvel, in your life and on your lawsuit, because there needs to be one. You need to be set for life. So here's what happened. He was sentenced to 25 years to life in 2009. He was convicted of a murder on July 15th of 2008 of Mustafa Omaria. The conviction has actually been vacated. So he's not just
Good.
been released, but his conviction has been vacated. So in New York, they have, in Brooklyn, they have a conviction review unit where they are reviewing old cases to make sure that people weren't, I don't know, put in prison unjustly.
Weird.
And that you would need that in the first place. So the
We
conviction
sure have a theme
review
going lately
unit,
too with these men.
right? We sure do. In this case, the defense, the prosecution, the police, and the court all failed in protecting Mr. Marshall's rights.
Wow.
They say a critical piece of evidence was not turned over, leading to this unjust conviction. So the conviction review unit, the work that they do reveals systemic failures. And this is a prime example of that. And they are committed to continuing this work, which I think is really, really cool. And I wish we had these conviction review units everywhere. I know a lot of big cities do have them. But everybody needs them to make sure. So before and during the trial, Arvel kept requesting some surveillance video footage that never got shown in court. And the reason it didn't get shown in court is because they had some technical difficulties. The video was playable, but it was never turned over to the defense. Only the prosecution had it. And when the prosecutor, was he John Pryor? Probably. Couldn't get the video to play, he said that his understanding that the stills, the photographs that they presented in pertinent parts of the footage were all they needed to really see, and nothing else was of evidentiary value. And the defense never even got to see it.
Oh my God.
It appears that actually no one watched the entire video. Now, the video shows two young men in the area around the time of the murder. One of them were wearing clothing that matched an eyewitness description of the shooter and removed an object from his waistband. A tipster had told the defense investigator. The shooter was a teenager. Arvel Marshall was 36 at the time of the shooting, and he was not the person on the surveillance video.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The
All
conviction...
because they were too lazy to get the tech figured out?
Yeah.
Or just too unwilling?
Just didn't give a shit.
Dear God.
Also, in reviewing the case, they found that Marshall's defense attorney did, this is the quote, little to prepare for trial and had little to, or no regard for the defendant. They never even made sure they got the video and watched it.
My gosh.
Yeah. So on August 9th, the prosecutor moved to vacate his conviction. And his conviction was tossed by the judge, and he was released after 16 years in prison.
Which is great, but 16 years has destroyed this man's life.
16 years. I cannot imagine what this poor man has lost. So honestly, all our love to Arvel and his family, and please sue the living shit out of the municipality that did this to you. Because
Absolutely.
none of this is ever supposed to happen. And if people did their jobs, it wouldn't. Yeah, this one's particularly egregious that they literally had video of the murderer. And it wasn't this guy, and they just didn't care.
Yep.
Pisses me off.
Yeah. Yeah. Good question, Jess. She said, has that attorney been disbarred? Because they should be. Absolutely. And
They should be. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on but they should all be in trouble. All of
Yeah.
the investigators, the judge. Why didn't the judge insist on seeing the video? It had been entered into evidence. They should have watched it.
This
The
was
defense
just
attorney,
easy.
yeah, the prosecutor who lied, obviously,
Yeah.
and said, "Oh, there's really nothing else more important on that video." Oh, I don't know, except for exonerating the defendant, you asshole.
For literally someone else committing the crime, that didn't
Yeah.
seem pertinent.
They also have no theories whatsoever who that person on that video was. So for the family of the victim, they now know that they didn't arrest the right person, and they weren't even looking for the right person to begin with. So
That's horrifying.
major fail in the justice
Yeah.
system. I'm grateful for Arvel that he at least got released while he's still got some life left to live.
Yes, absolutely. Well, hopefully we'll get to see at some point that there's been a settlement, that something has
I'm
come
sure
good
there will be.
from this for
I
him.
mean, yeah, this was an internal investigation, you know.
Yep.
He's 52. I think he's 52.
Yeah. Yeah, we need more judges like Boyce. Yeah, because I've got a string of things to tell you about Delphi, but I'm going to wait till tomorrow for case updates to do that. But yes, we do. We need more Judge Boyce. Agree.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we've got.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, we'll be back tomorrow night with case updates. Again, I'm working on bringing you a song about the one and only Alex Murdaugh.
I cannot wait.
Trying to decide if including the names Maggie and Papa is just or Mags and Papa is just in poor taste or not. But
I mean, the number of times he said it in court,
it's kind of burned in
you also got to
everyone's
make
brain.
sure that it's Alec Murdoch, even though that isn't his name. You'll have to spell it that way so that AI will get it. That's wild.
Yes. So that's what's happening. Well, you guys, thanks for being here. Please like, share, follow, comment. All of those things really help us. If you'd like to tip us, the super chat's on, as well as you can always go over to truecrimesquad.com and buy us a coffee or something like that if you are drawn to. You can find both of our stores over there as well, Kristi's Fidget Whimsy and My Joyful Goddess Designs, where we sell.
My new dragon is over there. Isn't she
Yeah.
pretty?
So cute. And that's where you can catch up with some of the stuff we do. And yes, there's a big case updates coming tomorrow night. Lots going on. So thanks for being here. Take good care of yourselves. Touch grass. Do things that have nothing to do with true crime. Because true crime, well, it can wear on you if you don't. So take good care of
That is
yourselves.
true.
Yep.
Definitely.
All righty, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. This has been yet another production of the True Crime Squad.
Bye, everybody.